Hey, book talk friends and family, welcome to Meet the Author. I have a very special young man for you to meet today. Aaron Dean McCarthy, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here. I read a lot of genres. Fantasy isn't one that I'm a huge fan of until you. Now, I met you on TikTok, which is what I love about this channel, and you asked me if I'd give your book a read, and if I liked it, I'd promote it. Absolutely blew me away. Your approach to fantasy is just like something I've never experienced before, and I have a feeling you might be a trailblazer in this um, in this genre. Now, tell me about so you describe this book as a fantasy rom-com, which
Correct.
is is brilliant because it is like it's can I tell a bit of the story?
Absolutely.
You've got Crown Prince Alistair, and he's like in the kingdom of good, and then you've got this evil witch Adelaide from the kingdom of evil, but she's not really that evil. Her family is. She's like the youngest, but she's not evil. She's just a little bit destructive,
Right. Right.
and, and she feels like she doesn't fit in, so she transports herself from her kingdom to the kingdom of good, and so poor Crown Prince Alistair is tasked by his parents to try and rein her in,
Yes.
and along the way, hate turns to love, and we've got this there. He's got to try and protect his kingdom from her destructive ways, not unintentional destructive ways, and
Right.
ends up falling in love. So the rom com comes through beautifully. What made you decide to to take fantasy, which can be serious at times, and turn it into this wonderful rom com?
Well, initially, I had written my first book is another book called Dark Parables, Blood of the Nephilim,
Okay.
and it's like an epic fantasy. I spent like several years just plotting that story
Wow, wow.
and taking theological elements and because it deals with sins and angels, like it's like a big thing. And in the book of, I don't know if you ever read the book of Enoch, because it's like a non-canonical part of the
Mm,
Bible where the Watchers were angels that were tasked to watch Earth. They fell in love with humans and they mated with humans and created these hybrid, these Nephilim. So my story takes a lot of inspiration from that, and I kind of
right.
expand, right? And that book didn't hit.
Okay.
It
Sorry
didn't
about
hit.
that.
No, it's okay because it was a wonderful experience I had making that story. And it's but the people who read it loved it. The people who
Right.
actually sat down to read it, they absolutely loved it. But the current market is more of this dark romance,
Right.
right? They
Yes.
love this dark romance, the SMUT, right?
Yep. Yep.
And I don't particularly like to write that. It's not my
Yep.
favorite,
Yep.
to write. I don't want to write that.
Mhm.
But I'm a menace on my own time, you know. But I was like, okay, so what can I write that readers would enjoy, but it'll scratch that itch, that
Yeah.
that romance itch, and I have a dark sense of humor too,
Hmm.
in
And that
amongst my
comes
friends,
through beautifully. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, let me write this book, and I wrote it, and I was like, well, and before I wrote it, I took inspiration because I watched so many interviews about this book. You ever heard the book Morning Glory?
Yes.
Milking.
Yes.
So I didn't read the book, but I like saw reviews about it, and I was like, "There's no way people are saying this is an amazing book." Not to knock the story. It was just a really dark turn, like it's a dark premise, right?
Mm.
If you sit there and think about it, it's a dark premise. And I was like, okay, so people are comfortable with these darker ideas.
Yeah.
I was like, let me try my own version of this, and I sat down and I did it on a whim. I did it like in 4 months. I did it. I sat.
Wow. Wow.
Not because it's like 37,000 words.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a huge story. It's almost like a novella, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I read it. As I said to you, I think I read it in one, two sittings.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a short read, but it gets the point across, and I
Right.
build it up how I wanted it to read is like you're just there. You feel like you're there with them. Like you're a
Yes.
part of the story
Absolutely. Absolutely.
as it's happening. Like you're almost like a friend that's watching
Yeah.
them, you know, and the story take place. So that's how I wanted it to be read and understood and just felt.
But taking it in the rom com way, which is not I mean, this the fantasy of the moment is the dark SMUT heavy hardcore, where this is lighthearted and whimsical,
Right.
and you've got good and evil, but I mean, I giggled most of the way, which I hope was the intention.
Yes, yes, what's intention?
So, and I like how you say that the reader goes along with you and with the characters, including the infamous shower scene, which I've spoken to other people who've read the book who all talk about this scene. Like, I
Right.
can't spoil it because it's pivotal to the story, but there is a shower scene in this book that is so important.
Uh-huh.
What made you decide to go there with all the people involved in that scene?
I wanted to introduce Eris,
Right.
her
Yeah.
younger sister, and I
She's
want everybody. She's terrible, but
she's
in a great
terrible.
way.
Oh yes, yeah,
In a
yeah.
great way. She's terrible in a great way.
And,
I
I
wanted to
mean,
introduce. Go ahead.
her motivation. I get her motivation, and I get why what motivates her to do what she does. But she's still a terrible person.
Right, and because I wanted to introduce Eris in a way that she felt like her own person,
Okay.
you know, but at the same time she's part of this evil family.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And evil in my universes, when I create them, evil isn't really black and white. I
Right.
think evil
Right.
evil is so nuanced. So is good, right? Because they can't exist without each other.
Right. Right.
Right? So the difference between a villain and the hero is their perspective on the atrocities done to them,
Right.
right?
Right. Yep.
So in Adelaide's family, the Morgana family, they're like, as you keep reading, as like when I post the second story, you kind of realize that they will go to dark lengths to get what they want, but
Right.
they're not particularly trying to hurt people, right?
No. No.
Beyond their
She's not.
society,
Yeah.
they're not particularly trying to hurt anybody. But then, like King Malachar, if he gets pushed there, he has no problem committing genocide. Like he doesn't care. Like you know what I mean? But
Right. Yeah.
he's not necessary. He won't do it. You know. And then at the Doncrest side, Alistair, his family, although he's the crown prince and then the Doncrest bloodline is angelic, his father kind of is like, I don't mind Adelaide being in my kingdom. He's humanistic in that sense, where he's like, I don't mind that this demonic witch is in my kingdom as long as she just doesn't break anything.
That's right.
You know, that's the most we can ask from each other. Let's just
Yes.
not hurt each other.
The
And
problem is that she breaks things all the
that's the
time.
problem. He's like, look, I don't want to kill her. Alistair, handle her, man. You know?
Yeah. I just think it's a whole lot of fun. And the number one character for me, and we had this conversation when I first read the book, is your narrator. Like, when I love narration of a story because it's kind of like a buddy for the reader. And this guy is a guy. Is
Well, it depends who's reading it. It
okay?
depends because
Yeah.
my actual narrator that I hired to narrate is a woman, but it could be a
Right.
man or right. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah. Yeah. But he or she comes out with some fantastic lines. Like the narrator serves the purpose of adding extra information to the story that we as a reader need quickly.
Right.
Like because we're thrown into the story from the opening line, and so there's a bit of backstory that we need to catch up to what the characters are doing, and the narrator provides that perfectly. But the narrator gets a little bit sidetracked, a little bit out of control, and even he or she can't cope with some of the things that are going on. And
Right.
there's something about, there was one time when he's like, I'm having a timeout, or I'm a hot mess, or something like that, where he's like, yeah, come back to me later. I can't do this. And so it was hilarious from beginning to end. It's an amazing story. I think
Because
everybody who loves fantasy, and even people who've never read fantasy before, choose this as your first entrance into the fantasy world because you'll end up loving the on genre like I did.
right.
So I think that's so important. Now, book two's coming out. You've hinted to me that book two might be a little bit more serious than book one.
I'm trying to take in the feedback from the readers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny that you mentioned the narration. So it's such a crazy divide.
Yeah.
Either they're like yourself, where they're like, I love the narrator, I love his interjections, or
Mm.
they're like, I couldn't stand this narrator, that's
Oh
why I had to put the book
no.
down.
Oh,
It's
oh,
so split.
imagine.
There's nobody in the middle. It's either I loved it or I DNF'd it.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's I mean, not ridiculous, it depends on your life. Like the last person that I spoke to said that it felt like a play, like I wrote a play and it was too playwrighty. And
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
well, I can see it. I can see why you think that, but it's this story isn't like my first book. My first book,
Mm,
every chapter is blocks of text,
okay.
blocks of like you have to know this backstory to
Yeah.
understand what's happening. Whereas here, it's like any life interaction, right?
Yeah.
I don't know you personally. We're in
Mm.
communication now, but like say you're in Australia.
I'm from Australia, in Thailand now, but
You're
yeah.
in Thailand. So let's imagine I go to Thailand right now,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and we're having coffee. We're just discussing something, and then something outside happens.
Yeah.
That's Thailand culture that I'm to me
Right.
is alien. I don't know what's going on. You're just like, oh yeah, that's normal. That's blah blah
Oh,
blah blah blah.
again? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. Again, right? And to use right if from the outside looking in, if somebody's watching us interact, they don't know
Yeah.
what that is either. Right?
Right.
They have no idea about Thailand. They don't know what this is. They don't need to know right now. Until it becomes relevant to the story.
Yes.
Now, whatever's happening, let's say there's a parade outside and it vomits into the store into the coffee shop that we're in. Now I have to know like, okay, what's going on here? Like, what's the deal with this? And then
Yeah.
it makes it
Yeah.
relevant. That's kind of how I wrote the story. Where it's like
Right.
I'll hint at things, but like it's not relevant now. Now, what I did do from what I liked that I did the interlude, which is another topic that people is they're divided on the interludes, where
Oh,
like when I mentioned the solar ward.
yeah, but there I know the purpose of that. This is setting up the second book. So this is why we need this.
Right. But for
Yeah.
instance, like the interlude with the solar warg,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Remember,
But
I
it
just
needed
said
to be there.
right, it needs to be there because
Yes.
I just said a name. I just said a name of a creature.
Right.
It's a solar warg, so you can assume it has something to do with light or solar energy. But otherwise, you have no idea what it is. There's
Yeah.
no I made it up. Like there's no context for a solar warg in
Good.
like
Good.
fantasy. Like, it was a creature. I was like, I want to make my own creature for this, right? And then people hated on the interludes, and I'm like, how could you? Because you won't understand what's happening without the interlude. And it's like this is not a mystery. My book is not a mystery book.
No. No.
I'm not gonna sprinkle the details throughout the story. No, you need to know this right now for the sake of the plot that's happening.
Yeah.
But it's okay because it's different strokes for different folks.
So with all of this feedback, then how it's still your book. So
Right.
regardless of what people are telling you, book two needs to be your book.
Correct.
So
Correct.
what? How is it going to differ from the first book, then? Or are you going to
You
keep
want to
this
know
going?
the kind of the plot of book two?
Um, a little bit, but not too much. Don't spoil it for me because you know I'm ready to read it.
Okay, so book two is it's a working title. It's the Hellish Masquerade.
Okay.
Okay, so there's an invitation from a certain somebody to the Hellish Masquerade,
Okay.
and Adelaide is she's posed with a dilemma
Mm-hmm.
because the masquerade itself occurs on the same day as a Grand Mage's trial,
Okay.
right? So she has to decide: do I go to the masquerade or do I go to the masquerade and then forfeit my Grand Mage's potentially becoming a Grand Mage's and
Oh,
being accepted in Dawncrist,
wow.
or do I go to the Grand Mage's trials and then disrespect, our her Lord and Savior, Big L, let's call him, right?
Mm.
So she's tasked with that choice, and then her, in Adelaide fashion, she does something that is gonna blow up in her face either way.
Yep. Right.
And that's the
Okay.
main premise of the story. And then that story's evolving, you kind of see Alistair, his morality. He's actually a really great character.
He is. He is. Yes. Yes.
He's actually very great.
Despite
And
his behavior in the shower.
correct, despite and I think I want to make that a trope in the story, like a working trope where
Yeah.
stuff happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we'll do
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But because he supports Adelaide,
Of course.
regardless of he loves
Yeah.
her and he supports her despite her. That's the kind of
And yes. Exactly. Yeah.
right.
Yes.
That's the kind of relationship that I want. I also want an example of because I know the book girlies love the dysfunctional relationships, but it's like, well, it can be dysfunctional and still healthy.
Yeah. I mean, they're the yin to each other's yang. Like he he makes her less destructive, and she makes him a little bit less goody two shoes.
Correct.
And,
Correct.
and so they belong together.
They do, and she's making him like she's making him more open to different magics. He
Yes.
was so rigid at first, and now
Yes.
he's doing like he's dabbling in the dark, you
Okay,
know?
good. I'm
He's
looking forward
dabbling
to
in
that.
dark arts,
Okay.
and she's more control. She's more respectful of Don Crest, and she starts to blush and act like more like a princess around
Yeah,
him.
yeah, 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 yeah. Good,
You know, so
good.
as they are going, but that is all. That's kind of it's like a teeter. It's like a teeter because he realizes how much he really cares about her, and then he starts he gets defensive for her. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to lose her. Like starts happening to her, and
Mhm.
she gets in danger. He has this urge to protect her and such.
As he
And
should.
as the story progresses, he starts to get a little bit darker.
Okay, nice,
Starts to get
nice.
darker, and that's
Yeah,
where the darkness comes from. Is from him, which is ironic, right?
yeah, but
That's the
it makes
but,
sense. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. Okay, great. So, and I know you're getting really sick of me asking you this question because I've been asking this question for a few weeks now, and it's only because I'm so excited to read it.
Uh-huh.
Are we closer to release date or release an ARC date?
Yes, I finished the first draft. I'm revising it right now.
Yay, yay.
Revising
That's huge.
because the first draft is really long. Like
Okay,
a lot of talking and stuff happening and blah blah blah. And then I got to the end and I'm like, okay, well, this didn't push the plot. It's a lot of filler.
okay.
There was a lot of filler, so I was like, okay, for the sake of the plot and to keep the engagement, because this the stuff that I wrote in the first one was like stuff that I wanted to put in there and like I enjoyed like
Yes,
because I have
good.
time. You have time to be like, oh, I enjoyed the scene. And it can last for three chapters, and you know. In this case, I kind of I'm condensing it,
Yeah, yeah.
for the casual because this is a casual read. As great as the story is,
Okay, okay, good.
it is a casual read, right? It's not supposed to melt your mind, right?
See, this is book two we're talking about.
Well, I was talking about book one.
Oh, book
Book one
one
was a
just
casual read,
book one was just pure entertainment. Yes. Yeah.
correct. Book two is every book moving forward is going to get darker and more
Oh,
serious,
that's a great idea.
right?
Yeah.
As the
Yeah.
plot, you're going to be like, what happened? By book four, you're going to be like, what did I just? What is this series?
Yeah.
You know?
Great.
And because things get higher, people emotions get involved more, and it gets darker. That's what
Fantastic.
I think with it. And I can't wait for you. I can't wait for you to read it, man.
Oh, I can't wait for me to read it. It's true. And I love that you're talking about future books like this. This is going to be an entire series that you're going to have a whole audience of your own that are just going to be like me, waiting for the next one. So desperately waiting for the next one. So have you got like an idea? Like there's going to be six, there's going to be seven, there's going to be 24. Like,
There's gonna be four stories following Adelaide and Alistair's love
all
story,
right.
and there's gonna be spin-offs.
Yeah.
Um, there's gonna be
Great.
spin-offs like I have one where because Eris she's a bit of a menace.
Mm-hmm.
So I already have the name. It's gonna be It's gonna be Lord's Dark Domain. Eris is oh my God, how did I forget? Oh, I forgot the name of this. Oh my God. Oh, Eris's World Tour.
Fantastic.
And
Fantastic.
in this world tour, she's gonna pretty much sleep with different species from other males from different
Okay. Okay.
right to see because she never gets to Alistair because he's always about Adelaide.
Right.
She's like
As you should
let me
be.
just find my guy. So she
Right.
goes on, she does her thing, and then it'll be like a fun. It'll be a
Okay,
little bit
nice.
raunchy because
Okay.
Eris it's
She is
Eris.
all about that. Yeah.
Alistair in another story. I'm gonna have one where it's gonna be young Alistair when he was at the academy.
That will be good. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
his his upbringing. He has a best friend that I'm going to introduce that he's like a more unrefined version of him, but equally as strong and whatnot. So
Okay.
so
Great.
14 and then spin-offs of different characters
Fantastic.
depending on
Well,
what the
you know I'm here for the ride. I'll be reading all of them. So I think it's great. So we're gonna run out of time for the interview. So Aaron D. McCarthy, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for Lordess of the Dark Domain. It's an incredible story. And of course I'll be reading book two. And to all of my audience out there, you will get the story from me the day I've read it, and we'll get together and do a launch day video so that we promote the book on the day that it comes out. So if you
so much.
haven't read Lordess of the Dark Domain, you need to get it now. Check my link in bio and you can get a hold of the book today, and once you've read that, you'll be like me, ready for book two. So thank you for joining me, and I'm very excited for what's coming with you.
Thank you for having me, boss.
Thank you so much.